Updates video. I trust and hope you're doing amazing. So there was an earthquake not too long ago from when I'm recording this video that was felt in areas such as Jamaica, Cuba, maybe even the Bahamas and the Cayman Islands as well. And yeah, it was a pretty decent earthquake that struck along the Oriente Fault Zone. We're going to be talking about it in a bit of detail, and also the tropics, because there is a strong tropical wave moving in that's going to be posing a rain threat to parts of the Caribbean, and it has already made its mark in some areas. For example, in parts of the Lesser Antilles, there has been some periods of heavy rain, and then that rain threat is going to continue drifting westward. Now, in terms of that earthquake, what is kind of sinister about it for me is the fact that earlier this morning, just after 7, I had posted that it's been a while since the last moderate earthquake in Jamaica, and that I'm anticipating one anytime soon. And then just about 3 hours after, almost 4 hours, there goes one. But thankfully, it wasn't a lot stronger than it was. Let's look at the details. So an estimated magnitude 5.4 earthquake, that's a moderate earthquake, and the epicenter was offshore. So the earthquake didn't strike Jamaica itself, but the seismic waves reached the island enough to the point where the shaking was very much noticeable for many areas, for many persons rather. So you can let me know if you felt the shaking and where you're located, your parish in Jamaica, or if you're in Cuba, the Cayman Islands, even Haiti. You can let me know if you felt the shaking, but it would be Jamaica and Cuba that would have felt the strongest of it. Again, moderate earthquake, the epicenter was offshore. So as I mentioned, it struck along the Oriente Fault Zone. That's the same fault zone where the 7.7 earthquake struck back in January 2020. So as I said, thankfully this earthquake wasn't a lot stronger, and thankfully it didn't directly hit land either, because this is capable of doing damage. A 5.4 is definitely capable of doing some damage. And I'm just seeing a bit of new details coming in as well, where the epicenter is actually a lot closer to land for Cuba. And the quake was probably stronger than the estimated 5.4, so definitely capable of doing some damage. But I haven't seen any immediate reports of damages, but I'll be on the lookout for that, and I'll keep you guys posted accordingly. And with these moderate earthquakes, these moderate to strong earthquakes, there could also be those aftershocks. So hopefully there's nothing major that's going to be following this, but this is something that we always have to be on our guard for, because they can happen at any time. It doesn't mean you should be walking around feeling a pocket of fear, but just to be, aware that, these things, they can happen at any time, and when they happen, you just have to act in the moment. As for me personally, to be honest, I was just there vibing to music and, working on some stuff on my laptop, and I didn't actually feel the shaking. But I've had a lot of persons immediately messaging and calling me, hey, have you felt the earthquake? But I didn't feel it, guys. And yeah, it's been a pretty active day for me as well. But going on into the realm of the weather, this is a look at the satellite imagery for the North Atlantic. And there's all that action associated with the tropical wave moving across parts of the Caribbean. Also a bit of shower and thunderstorm activity along the intertropical convergence zone. And there's that frontal system out there as well. Alright guys, so I'm in the process of editing this video to post, and another earthquake. I believe an aftershock of the first one. It just hit again. This one, I felt it full force. It was shaking my entire house. It was strong enough to open a closet door, like, oh my gosh. So yes guys, we just had another earthquake. Just want to pause the video right here to throw in this segment of it, that there was a second one. Definitely, as I said, we have to be on guard for these aftershocks, because they come without notice completely, guys. So please stay safe. But let's continue with the weather update. So here we are zooming into the Caribbean. So in parts of the Lesser Antilles, even Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and sections of Hispaniola, especially for the Dominican Republic, there's likely been some periods of heavy rain, and more is going to be on the way, especially for the western side of the Dominican Republic, going to Haiti. Eventually this wave is going to reach Jamaica, and it will likely result in a pretty decent rainfall increase. And as we know, with the periods of heavy rain, there is going to be that probability of flooding. So if you should encounter any floodwaters, please stay safe and do not take any unnecessary risks. Elsewhere across the Caribbean, nothing much is happening. It is a beautiful day for many of us, perfect day to be at the beach. And I'm going to be heading now to the rainfall forecast, so let's go on to it. So this goes out to tomorrow morning. As you can see, these colorful shadings, more color indicates more rainfall expected. So within the vicinity of the Cayman Islands, there could be some showers, maybe some heavy downpours at times. And there is an airflow pressure in that region there that's moving by. Nothing significant though. And as for Central America, for parts of Mexico, Guatemala, a few spots in Belize, going to parts of Nicaragua, especially in the south, Costa Rica, Panama, it gets pretty colorful right there. So there could be those rainfall amounts probably exceeding 4 to 5 inches of rain or so. And then for South America, parts of Colombia, Venezuela, there could be some periods of heavy rain, maybe for a couple spots in the Guyanas as well. So Guyana, Suriname, and French Guiana, there could be some showers and thunderstorms, and especially as we head later in the afternoon hours, it's going to be possible for sure. Additional showers, definitely a probability for the ABC Islands, and then throughout the Lesser Antilles, there's an increase in moisture in the area, so anticipate more periods of rainfall, maybe those thunderstorms as well. And as I had mentioned, for the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, and Hispaniola, there's likely to be some periods, additional periods of heavy rain, and that's already happening in some areas because of the tropical wave that's moving by. Jamaica, there could be some showers today, not guaranteed for the entirety of the island at all though, and also the same thing for Cuba. And then throughout much of the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, some showers will be in the area, not guaranteed for every island, but there could be some heavy downpours at times. So that is what is anticipated today in terms of the rainfall activity. And moving on to our active tropical storm, that's Raphael. So Raphael is barely hanging on. It is going to weaken to a depression very soon, and it's going to be moving a bit to the east and then making a curve back to the south and going to the southwest. And it's just going to be loitering around as a post-tropical cyclone because the environment in the Gulf is quite hostile and is ripping it to shreds right now. So it is a weakening system, so thankfully it doesn't look as though it's going to be making any sorts of landfall as anything very significant. And you know, that's wonderful news. It's just loitering in the Gulf by itself right now. And then guys, as we're going to be heading later and later into the month of November, it is pretty likely we'll see something else try to form in the Caribbean. There is absolutely no guarantee. There's no new area highlighted to watch. Let me put that out there. Aside from Raphael, there is no other active tropical cyclone. However, the next 4 names on the list, and the last 4 at that, are Sarah, Tony, Valerie, and William. Those are the last 4 names on the list for the season. So definitely looks as though we may see something, maybe 1 or 2 more storms before the season officially concludes. And it doesn't mean that there will be nothing after November 30th. There isn't some sort of atmospheric curfew that's out there to say, hey, nothing else is going to form. We've had many anomalous situations. We've had storms in December, January, February, March, April, May. Those are all the off-season months. So there's not some sort of atmospheric curfew to say that nothing is going to form. However, conditions are typically not the most ideal to anticipate development at the time of year, but that's why I'm here to keep you posted on a day-to-day basis once necessary, guys. And if you have any additional questions,